The story surrounding the Brown family from Alaskan Bush People has long been a mixture of fascination, controversy, and emotional complexity. What began as a television portrayal of an off-grid family attempting to survive in the wilderness gradually evolved into a far more complicated narrative shaped by fame, personal struggles, and public scrutiny. Over the years, viewers have followed their journey through harsh environments, family milestones, and deeply personal challenges, often blurring the line between reality and entertainment. In recent years, attention has shifted away from survivalist adventures and toward the emotional turbulence within the family itself. Allegations of internal conflict, strained relationships, and legal disputes have circulated widely, fueling discussions across social media and fan communities. Among the most discussed figures is Noah Brown, whose personal life has reportedly been affected by both family tensions and marital difficulties. This rewritten account explores the unfolding drama, the reported conflicts within the Brown family, and the broader questions surrounding life in the public eye. It also examines how reality television can amplify personal struggles, turning private matters into public debate. While much of what has been reported remains based on claims, allegations, and public statements, the situation paints a picture of a family navigating fame under intense pressure. The following sections break down the key elements of this ongoing narrative, including family disputes, public reactions, personal relationships, and the lingering question of how much of what viewers see on screen reflects reality. Through this exploration, a deeper understanding emerges of how fame, family, and personal hardship can intersect in unexpected and often painful ways. 1. Family drama and reported legal conflict. One of the most widely discussed developments in the Brown family narrative involves reported internal conflict that allegedly escalated into legal action. According to circulating accounts, tensions between Noah Brown and a sibling reportedly intensified to the point where a restraining order was sought. These claims described a situation involving accusations of harassment, threats, and erratic behavior, which allegedly created fear and emotional distress within the family unit. The situation, as it has been portrayed publicly, suggested a deeply fractured relationship between family members who once shared a close bond. Reports included serious allegations involving stalking behavior and concerns about safety, which significantly heightened public attention. As these claims emerged, fans of the show were quick to react, expressing shock and concern over the apparent breakdown of a family once known for its unity and resilience. However, as with many high-profile disputes, details remain complex and often contested. While one side of the narrative described troubling behavior and safety concerns, others questioned the evidence and context behind the allegations. The legal system ultimately did not fully validate the restraining order request, citing insufficient evidence, which left the matter unresolved in the public eye. This unresolved outcome contributed to ongoing debate among viewers and followers of the family's story. Some interpreted it as evidence of misunderstanding or exaggeration, while others viewed it as a reflection of deeper, unresolved emotional struggles within the family. Regardless of perspective, the situation highlighted how quickly private disputes can become public controversies when a family lives under media exposure. 2. Public perception and media scrutiny. Public perception of the Brown family has always been shaped by their long-running presence on reality television. From the beginning, audiences were drawn to the idea of a family living off the grid, surviving in the wilderness, and rejecting modern conveniences. This image created a strong fan base but also invited skepticism, with viewers constantly questioning how much of the lifestyle was authentic. As more personal details and off-screen developments began to surface, the contrast between the show's portrayal and reported realities became more noticeable. Fans who once admired the family's unity began to see signs of strain, particularly as social media posts and public statements hinted at internal disagreements. This shift in perception transformed the family narrative from one of adventure and survival to one of emotional complexity and conflict. Media coverage amplified these developments, often focusing on the most dramatic aspects of the story. Headlines and online discussions emphasized legal disputes, family tensions, and personal struggles, sometimes without full context. This contributed to a cycle in which speculation and reporting reinforced each other, making it difficult for audiences to separate fact from interpretation. At the same time, supporters of the family argued that the pressures of fame and constant public attention likely played a significant role in shaping these conflicts. They suggested that reality television can distort relationships by placing private lives under a microscope, where every disagreement becomes amplified and permanent. Ultimately, public perception of the Browns became divided between admiration, skepticism, and concern, reflecting the complicated nature of living life in front of cameras. 3. Court decisions and ongoing disputes. As the reported family conflict escalated, legal proceedings became part of the public narrative. One of the most discussed aspects was the attempt to secure a restraining order, which was ultimately not granted by the court due to a lack of sufficient evidence. This decision added another layer of complexity to an already emotionally charged situation. The court's ruling did not necessarily resolve the underlying issues between the parties involved. Instead, it left many questions unanswered and allowed differing interpretations to persist. Some viewed the outcome as a sign that the allegations may not have met the legal threshold required for protective action. Others believed it reflected the difficulty of proving emotionally driven disputes in a legal setting, especially when they occur within families. Following the court's decision, public discussion intensified. Supporters of each side expressed their perspectives online, often reinforcing opposing narratives. This digital divide contributed to ongoing tension, as social media platforms became spaces where the conflict continued in a highly visible and emotionally charged form. The lack of resolution also meant that the personal relationship between the individuals involved remained strained. Without legal closure, the situation transitioned into a prolonged period of public uncertainty, where speculation often filled the gaps left by official information. This phase of the story highlights how legal systems, while structured to address disputes, do not always provide emotional closure for those involved. In the context of public figures, the absence of a definitive legal outcome often fuels even more discussion rather than settling the matter. 4. Personal perspectives and mental health discussions. In the aftermath of public allegations and legal proceedings, attention turned toward the personal experiences and emotional well-being of those involved. Public statements shared online suggested that mental health challenges and personal struggles may have played a role in the reported behavior and conflict. One perspective highlighted the difficulties of dealing with emotional distress while living under constant public scrutiny. The pressure of being part of a well-known reality television family can intensify personal challenges, making private struggles visible to millions. In this context, discussions around mental health became a significant part of the broader conversation. Supporters emphasized the importance of understanding and compassion, particularly when substance use or emotional instability is mentioned. They argued that public figures often face harsh judgment without adequate consideration of their personal circumstances or efforts toward recovery. At the same time, others maintained that concerns raised within the family should be taken seriously, especially when they involve safety and trust. This created a tension between empathy and accountability, reflecting the difficulty of interpreting complex interpersonal issues from the outside. Amid these discussions, some messages expressed hope for reconciliation and healing, suggesting that despite conflict, familial bonds might still be repaired over time. These mixed perspectives illustrate how public narratives can simultaneously hold criticism, sympathy, and uncertainty. 5. The pressures of reality television. Reality television plays a central role in shaping how audiences understand the Brown family's experiences. While shows like Alaskan Bush People present a curated version of life, the reality behind the scenes is often far more complex. The constant presence of cameras can influence behavior, heighten emotions, and transform everyday interactions into dramatic storytelling moments. Over time, the distinction between authentic life and produced content can become blurred. Viewers may struggle to separate genuine experiences from edited narratives designed for entertainment. This creates a dynamic where real personal challenges are packaged within a format that emphasizes conflict and emotional intensity. For families involved in such programming, the long-term effects can be significant. Relationships may be strained by repeated exposure, external judgment, and the pressure to maintain a public image. Private disagreements, when filmed and broadcast, can take on amplified importance, making resolution more difficult. In the case of the Brown family, these pressures appear to have intersected with personal hardships, legal disputes, and shifting family dynamics. As a result, the show's original focus on survival and wilderness living gradually became overshadowed by attention to interpersonal drama. This evolution reflects a broader pattern within reality television, where long-running programs often transition from lifestyle documentation to character-driven storytelling centered on conflict. 6. Origins and rise of the Brown family narrative. The Brown family first gained widespread attention through their portrayal as a wilderness living household navigating life in remote environments. Their story was built around themes of independence, survival, and unity in the face of challenging natural conditions. Early seasons emphasized their efforts to build shelters, secure food sources, and adapt to isolated living. These elements resonated with audiences seeking an alternative lifestyle narrative, far removed from modern urban existence. Each family member was presented with distinct traits and roles, contributing to the overall survival effort. As the series progressed, filming locations and circumstances evolved, with the family reportedly spending time in different regions. This shift contributed to ongoing discussions about the authenticity of their off-grid lifestyle, as viewers questioned how isolated their living conditions truly were. Despite these debates, the show maintained a strong audience base, largely due to its focus on family dynamics and personal stories. The Browns became recognizable figures in reality television, with their lives increasingly intertwined with public interest. This rise to fame set the foundation for both their popularity and the scrutiny that would follow in later years. 7. Noah Brown's public image and personal life. Noah Brown emerged as one of the more reserved and technically inclined members of the family, often portrayed as thoughtful and skilled in building and problem-solving. His personality contrasted with more outspoken family members, which contributed to his popularity among viewers. Over time, his personal life became part of the broader narrative surrounding the family. Public interest grew around his relationships, family role, and eventual marriage, which was followed by fans through both the television series and online updates. As personal challenges and family tensions reportedly increased, Noah's public presence appeared to shift. Observers noted changes in his online activity and visibility, which fueled speculation about his private circumstances. Despite this, he remained associated with themes of resilience and family responsibility, often portrayed as someone seeking stability amid changing circumstances. His story became intertwined with both the public image of the Brown family and the evolving narrative of their off-screen lives. 8. Marriage, parenthood, and family challenges. Noah Brown's marriage and role as a parent became central elements of his personal storyline. Publicly, his family life was often described as a source of meaning and responsibility, particularly in the context of broader family struggles. The transition into parenthood introduced new priorities, with emphasis placed on creating stability and structure. However, reports of strain within the marriage eventually surfaced, suggesting that external pressures and internal conflicts may have contributed to difficulties. As time went on, separation and divorce were reported, marking a significant turning point in his personal life. These developments added emotional weight to an already complex situation, particularly as they coincided with ongoing family disputes and public attention. The combination of parenthood, public scrutiny, and family tension created a challenging environment, shaping both personal decisions and public perception. 9. Separation and aftermath. Following reports of separation, attention turned to the aftermath and how individuals involved were adjusting to new circumstances. Public statements suggested emotional difficulty, reflection, and a focus on co-parenting responsibilities. Social media activity and public appearances became less frequent, with emphasis shifting toward private life and personal healing. Observers interpreted this period as one of transition, marked by emotional processing and attempts to establish stability. The separation also contributed to broader discussions about the impact of long-term public exposure on personal relationships. Fans and commentators speculated about how much of the strain was influenced by external pressures versus private dynamics. While details remained limited, the situation underscored the challenges of maintaining relationships under constant visibility and public commentary. 10. Questioning authenticity and reality in the show. Throughout the show's run, questions about authenticity have persisted. Viewers and critics have debated how much of the depicted lifestyle reflects actual living conditions versus structured production design. Claims have circulated suggesting that some scenes were enhanced or staged for dramatic effect, while others argue that the family did experience elements of off-grid living, even if not continuously or exclusively. This ongoing debate reflects a broader issue within reality television: the balance between entertainment and truth. As audiences become more media literate, expectations for transparency increase, leading to greater scrutiny of long-running programs. In the case of the Brown family, these questions have become part of their legacy, influencing how their story is interpreted by both supporters and critics. Conclusion: the story of the Brown family, particularly the experiences surrounding Noah Brown, illustrates the complex intersection of fame, family, and personal struggle. What began as a portrayal of wilderness survival evolved into a layered narrative shaped by public attention, reported disputes, and emotional challenges. While much of the information surrounding these events is based on claims, reports, and public commentary, the overarching theme remains consistent. Life in the public eye can intensify both personal joys and personal difficulties. Family relationships, already complex in private settings, become even more complicated when exposed to constant scrutiny. The evolution of their story reflects not only individual experiences, but also the broader nature of reality television itself. It highlights how narratives can shift over time, influenced by production, audience interpretation, and real-life developments. Ultimately, the Brown family's journey continues to be a subject of discussion, reflection, and debate. Whether viewed as a story of resilience, conflict, or both, it remains a powerful example of how public and private lives can become deeply intertwined in the modern media landscape.